What?
You're live.
Oh, well, now you tell me. Hey, y'all, I'm James Wright, and welcome to Wood By Wright. Today, we're going to be having a bit of a fun time because this is the last live here on Wood By Wright, the main channel. We are going to be keeping and doing the live, but we're moving them over to the second channel. So if you like the live and you want to stay up with it, then move over to Wood By Wright 2. There's a link to it in the description down below. We will be doing this at the same time every week. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. We'll be doing it on the second channel, Wood By Wright 2. This is, we're now changing up everything. I've been waiting until the bed is done. Now that the bed is done, we're going to be changing a few things around on Wood By Wright. And I want to explain why, because a lot of people have been wondering about that. So basically, Wood By Wright is going to be artistic videos without talking, just seeing me build things. It'll be a once-a-week video. So most, like other channels, have a once-a-week video. And then on Wood By Wright 2, I'm going to be doing everything that I have been doing on Wood By Wright 1. So Wood By Wright 2 will be all of the how-to videos. So on Saturday, when I do that video where I just run through it without talking, Wood By Wright 2 on Saturday will have the same video, but I'll be talking in the background, explaining what I'm doing and talking through what is up with it. On Thursdays on Wood By Wright 2, I will still be doing a demonstration video, either talking about a tool or a method or some piece that goes along with that. And then of course on Tuesdays we have this. So that is the normal plan. Tuesdays live, Thursdays is a tool talk or demonstration, and then Saturday is the build video. And Saturday it will be on both channels. So I want to say why exactly I'm doing this. The big reason is that... What's that?
Slow down a little bit.
Why?
You sound like you're racing.
Sorry.
They haven't said it, but to me, and I'm in the room with you.
The big thing is the way YouTube works is it's best to have a channel that has one particular thing it does. And if I'm doing a video where I do artistic videos and I do other how-to videos, if people sign on for the how-to videos and then they see the artistic video, they leave the channel. Or vice versa, if they sign on for the artistic video and then they find the how-to video, then they leave the channel. And also, the channel is growing very rapidly, and a lot of that is because we're getting a lot of international viewers. And people who don't speak English really like the videos where I don't talk. It's less distracting and more focused. On top of that, we're also getting a lot of people who really could care less about woodworking. They just want to see someone doing something relaxing and enjoyable, and they want to watch the video. And so I'm making the main channel all about those videos that go to a much broader audience. And the thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make that kind of the intro drug. So when people see that and they get interested in it and they want to know, well, how exactly is he doing that? Why is he doing it that way? Then I can send people over to Wood By Wright 2. And that's really the home crowd. That is the group that I'm spending most of my time with and talking through with people on Wood By Wright 2. And so I'm hoping that we'll be finding people who are new to woodworking and interested in the sport, and they'll be joining on Wood By Wright. And then they'll really get starting interested and they want to know more about the how-to, then they can come over to Wood By Wright 2 and find out more of the how-to. So that is really the big goal for the channel, and this week is the moving week. So we're moving everyone over to Wood By Wright 2. So yeah, any questions on the live thus far?
No, but they agree with me. You need to take a chillax.
Sorry, I watch almost all YouTube videos on 2x speed, and it really does affect how fast I talk. Because I'm used to everyone talking on YouTube like this, and I really want to keep going, but it should stop and slow down a little bit.
Cleansing breath.
So yes, all of the content is still here. Well, it's over on Wood By Wright 2, and I really want you to, if you like the how-to and you want to hear the demonstrations and the talk through, go over to Wood By Wright 2. That's where it's all going to be at. This will be the channel where we're just kind of laid back a little more, where we're trying to get a broader audience, and it's more or less the advertising for the community, so that people can find us. Because YouTube really likes videos that reach broader audiences, and the best way to do that is to get my talking out of it. So yes. Unless anyone has any questions, I don't think yet. We just came back from the MWTCA national meet. I just came back yesterday. I didn't come. She had to do this thing called work, and she pays for this to happen.
That's right. You all owe me.
She is the reason that Wood By Wright is here today. Yes. So yeah, I went out there and I did a couple live videos. And I will keep doing those live videos, but those will be over on Wood By Wright 2 as well. So we actually got to show the walk around, and the national meet is like the mecca of hand tools. It is the fun place that everyone can go to. Now, MWTCA is a collecting organization. They collect information, they collect tools, they collect all of the people who have all of these old tools. And it's not about the tool sale, but the tool sale does come along with it. And so you're basically, you get a membership to the MWTCA, and with that you get invites to all of the meets, as well as several other publications. And then you have to go to the meet and you pay an entrance fee that actually pays for the meet. So it's basically like going to a convention that's about hand tools, and it's a lot of fun there. And we did get confirmation I will be doing the national meet in Green Bay, which is next June. So book your calendars and your flight schedules, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in June in Green Bay. And I will be doing a talk there where I'll be doing some demonstration. Right now the plan is to take this bench up there, but I'm also thinking about possibly building I want to say Orwellian, another bench. What's the oh man, total mind blank. It's basically a bench that's designed to knock down. I'm thinking about
the one you were thinking about making for me?
Yes. And I'm thinking about making it with two different sets of legs. One that I can knock down and
called?
take off, and then number two that I can put shorter legs on and do some videos with Sarah.
Oh, I can't think of what it is now.
Yeah, it starts with a W, or at least W is the letter that's stuck in my brain.
We already know S equals ghost.
Yeah.
Or no, S equals Hamlet.
S equals Hamlet. Yeah, what's the name of that play? S, Hamlet.
Because the prominent letter in ghost is the S.
Yes. That's the way it works in my brain. And big news for the channel. I'm, let's see, next Tuesday, so a week from today, I have an appointment to go talk to a guy about a lathe. So there's a possibility of me getting a
Moravian.
Sorry. Moravian workbench.
That doesn't have any W's in it.
It's in it. It's a W upside down.
Sorry. You're going to talk to a guy.
Yes, I'm going to go talk to a guy about a lathe. He has a Barnes number 4, which is it's a foot-powered metalworking lathe, but you can do woodworking on it as well. And so I'm really thinking about doing that and getting rid of my old bench, which I believe my mother wants. So I might be hauling that down to her basement. But I'll be getting a lathe in here because I'd want to be doing some fun videos with that. So stay tuned. I'm getting excited. Any questions?
I'm just trying to think.
Just before the video started, my switch went dead. So I'm stuck with the one camera. So I'm going to be moving this around a little bit. But I want to show you some of the things that I got at the Midwest Tool Collectors Meet. Hello there. Scary things.
Very. Oh.
Whoop, exit. Focus.
Then he's going to talk to someone.
So we got, when I go to the meets now, I don't really go as much for buying things as much for hanging out with people, because I've bought most of the tools, other than there's a few things that come up. Like number one, this is a toothing plane. I thought if you guys want to, I might actually sharpen the blade up on and see if we can get this to work. And if you look at it, the blade is almost right up and down, and it's got some interesting geometry on the blade. It actually has teeth on it. There we go. And I don't know if the camera can see this. Here, let me zoom in for you. And it's going to go way out of focus here for a moment. Oh, like that. Way out of focus.
No signal.
No, I lost connection. Did I hit the off button? There we go.
Fix it.
Maybe.
In preparation for the trip, will he be a Green Bay Packer? Always.
I am an owner.
Oh dear. Now we're going to start down that rabbit trail.
My power supply died. Everything is dying on me today. There we go. Yeah, let's try this again.
It's revolting against you switching to Wood By Wright too.
Okay, let's do this. Try this power supply. That one feels better. There we go, that's better. So we've got something that's really out of focus. It's really, really out of focus. There we go. So you can see that there's teeth on the back of this. And all of these grooves make it so you don't ever flatten the back. Well, you do flatten the back once or twice, but you try to keep those grooves there. But then you turn it around and you actually get all of these serrated teeth all the way across here. So I've been wanting to get one of these for a while, and there were a couple of them for sale, and so I had to buy it. I had to buy it. So this is a fun one, and we may actually do that if you guys want to see. I might sharpen that up. Actually, see how sharp is it? Nah, it needs a little bit more sharpening. There was a dealer there that had a bunch of screwdrivers that they've completely over-restored and ground down. And so I wanted to get one of these for the lever cap. It was needing a good one because mine is dying on me. Then I found 2 pocket hole bits. So I broke mine, and I've been looking for one for a while, and I happened to find 2 of them there. I was very, very happy. I think she charged me like $1 a piece. So great prices. The last one I had was like $30 because I had to buy it in a whole set. Then I have a Bailey number 5, and I got this one because I've been wanting to do a video about restoring a plane and get one that's like totally torn apart. Everything is there except for the front knob, but we can make that as part of the video. But the whole plane is in pretty bad shape. There's a lot of rust spots on it, and it's a mess. So I thought this might make a really good video showing how you can take something that looks bad, but really isn't. It's all there. It just needs a good bit of cleanup and sharpening, and then a new knob, and it would be a great working plane. And then I got this one. This is a 05.5, which is the Ohio Tools number 5.5, and it is in pretty good shape. It looks bad, but it's all there and really kind of cool. Ohio Tools is another great tool company. Their chip breakers are very different, and there's old ones here have a very thick iron. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you this iron, because this is absolutely cool. Ooh, we're really getting close on things. Focus. There we go. You can see how thick that iron and chip breaker are. It's rather impressive. But the other thing is on the back, the hole is actually this, what is 6-sided? Octagon? No.
6-sided?
Yeah.
It's not like hexagonal?
Hexagon, there's the word, as opposed to a round circle. So there's a bunch of other things that make a Ohio Tools different. But this is one, especially on the early ones, they have a very, very thick iron. It's a lot more like the hand-forged irons. And the chip breaker is more of this arch as opposed to a bow right at the front. Then also the lever adjuster, rather than having a ball here at the end, it just has this prong that's bent up and it's twisted in shape. So the lever adjuster is a little bit different. There's a few things that really stand out that say Ohio Tools plane, but it's a really good one, and I'm looking forward to restoring this one as well. Then the jewel of what I found, and I've been looking for one of these for a while, is a small router plane. And I've got one, but I'm missing the iron. And this is a Sargent 73 router plane. And it actually came in the box and everything for, I think I paid $30, which is just a total steal. But this one's kind of cool because it has the center location on here, but then I can also put the iron out here on the side and use it for doing other things where I want to get in close to work. But sometimes having a really small router plane like this is very cool for some of those hard to get to locations. So I'm looking forward to showing that off. So that's all I got. I did not get that much. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is there anything particular you want to see in this or anything else you want to find out about? Any questions so far?
We have a couple.
Okay.
Okay, so hang on. So the important questions are first. Cut Twice and some others were wanting to know where you got your shirt.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing my, I figured this would be appropriate for moving day. I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. I actually just bought it on Amazon, I think.
Oh, you didn't get it when you were in California?
No, this one I didn't get there. So I think I just got this one on Amazon.
You can always find everything on Amazon.
Yeah, everything's on Amazon. What else?
Hang on. Let me mark that. Oh, and then remember who we met at Highclere Castle?
Oh yeah.
So, Amanda and John. I think that's what it was. They're on.
Oh,
so
cool.
They were saying hello.
Yeah, we were in England and taking a tour of Highclere Castle, which is the
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey mansion, and out of nowhere, ran into someone else who knows the channel. So it was kind of fun. We ran into several people in England, so it was kind of cool to.
No, we didn't physically.
What's that? Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that conversation started because I think it was my dad.
He commented on your dad's Packer shirt.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
And then you looked familiar.
Yeah, I had someone at my garage sale this summer.
Yeah, that was actually.
And I had we were talking through things. He's like, yeah, he was talking about his tools and things like that, and I was like, he seems to know what he's talking about. I don't know if he knows of the channel. And then he looked up at me and was like, you look really familiar. Have I seen you before? He's like, do you watch YouTube? He's like, oh! So he took him inside and showed the table and other things we built. And, yeah.
So apparently if you come to our garage sale, you get a free tour.
Yeah. Free tour with purchase of a handsaw. What's next?
So your mama wants to know.
She's in Korea right now.
Yes. She wants you to explain the use of a pocket hole bit.
I actually have a YouTube channel where I have a YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it. I did a series of videos a while ago on a joinery window. It was a live video. And so we did a bunch of things, but one of the joints is a pocket hole, which sounds really crass. But historically, pocket holes were used quite a bit. And it's an old design drill for doing that. Actually, let me go ahead and whip one up and see if I can do that while I'm waiting here. Any question while I'm setting that up?
Greg Cheng asked, how does the plain blade compare to the modern Hock blade in thickness?
That depends on you. Where is a scrap piece? There it is. Some people want a steel that is very, very hard, and some people want a steel that is easy to sharpen, and there is no good steel for that. And some of the old forged irons were really, really good, and some of them really were not, but you have no idea until you actually sharpen them for a little while. So, yes, some of the companies had really well-known names that they wanted to keep, and some of them didn't, and some of them were 50-50. And so old steel, you never quite know until you actually get to experiment with it. But yeah. So a lot of people swear by old plane blades that they are so much better than anything that is modern made. But in most cases, the modern stuff is a better steel and is going to be far more consistent in how it was made. But everyone's going to argue about that. So here's the pocket hole bit. We can start it here, and we just want to get the tip screwing in. Can I see this? Yeah. And then we can bring it down. Oop, it's sliding on me. Got to get it starting a little better. I haven't sharpened this at all, so it's probably a mess. Yeah, it's going to be tearing this up. But it basically creates a little pocket for a wood screw to fit into. Yeah, this one's a total mess, but you can see, take a knife and clean off all these fibers. Basically what it does is it creates a pocket hole that I can then run a screw into and then connect it to a tabletop. So most of the time I'd be going across the grain, and then that way you could run a screw through this and then into your tabletop. That was a fairly common place for it, but that is a pocket hole drill. So yes, pocket holes are actually a very viable joinery. It's just not the best thing to use in every aspect, but for some, it's very, very useful. What's next?
Okay, so going back to when you were talking about your tools, Mark Baldwin asked, could they have made them different to avoid copyright infringement?
Could they made what?
I don't know, was it the Ohio planes that you were talking? I don't know.
Well, we think about things that have been turning over very, very quickly recently, in the last 40, 50 years. And Bailey had the Victor Bailey planes that were out for many years, and then Stanley brought Bailey into the fold, and you had the Stanley Bailey planes, and those went around for a while, and they were constantly upgrading and changing them, and so every type they'd add another feature or they'd change this around to make it easier to make. And so over the years, they constantly were changing their planes. Well, then other companies started getting into it, Sargent in Ohio, and a lot of other companies started coming in around the turn of the century. And by that point, these planes had been out for 50, 60, 70 years. And copying them was not that big a deal because it's old tech by that time. And so you do have a lot of copying. From the planes made around the turn of the century, they're all very, very, very similar. There's a reason that they all look the exact same. They all have that same swoop. They all have that same flow. They all have the same wall in front of the mouth. It's because this was a good design. And once the patents on it passed out, everyone made the same thing. It was a fairly common thing, and there was a lot of time that went by before that. But yes, there were a lot of patent claims and people arguing about that, just like there are today. So technology always brings that out. What's next?
Tony Mary says, howdy from Roscoe.
Hey, just up the road.
Yep. Any recommendations on hardwood suppliers or local sawyers?
Usually what I do is I go on Craigslist and I look up lumber, or I look up slabs, or I have a whole bunch of different terms that I search for. And now I'm doing more on Facebook Marketplace. And I'll find people that have a whole bunch of slabs. Well, they have a sawmill out in their backyard. And so I'll make friends with them. Particularly, sawmills, there's like 4 or 5 within an hour to an hour and a half of Rockford that I normally go to. There's a couple lumber yards I've made good contacts with. But yeah, Craigslist and Facebook are two of the best ways to find locals. But yeah, if you're in Roscoe, give me a call. Maybe we can come down here and hang out in the shop for a while. What's next?
Hang on.
I'm hanging.
Worth the Effort wants to know. So what was the new fad tool at the show? Ones the dealers currently overprice.
Yes, there's always one. There's always like the Stanley 62, the low angle. For a while you used to be able to buy those for 60, 70 bucks. They were about the same price as like a Stanley 8. And now they're $200-$300 or more. Routers were actually going up. Hand routers were a bit more expensive than I was expecting. I think the big fad one right now is dowel makers. Those have just gone through the roof right now. There were 4 or 5 of them for sale there. And the dowel maker itself was $200 to $400 depending upon its condition. But the individual dies, the actual cutters, were around $200 to $400 a piece, just for the small blade piece. And so there was one guy there with, he had the dowel maker and 5 cutters, I think it was. And he had it listed for $750, which in comparison to others, that was actually a pretty decent price. But still, it's a lot of money for that. Still nowhere near a Stanley #1 though, so that's the way it goes. Which, worth the effort. You got to take a look at his channel. He is one of the reasons why I am here today. He had a video that kind of jogged my interest in making a grooving plane. So yeah, definitely check him out. What's next?
So Michael Lindburg said, please do the foot power lathe.
Yes, I'm really wanting to get one of those in the shop.
I was making sure we weren't talking about, but that's a scroll saw.
Yeah, it's a scroll saw.
I'm learning.
Because I want to do more turning videos. The problem with the spring pole lathe is it takes up a lot of space because you have the arm that has to come down. And I don't like having it set up, and so it's always a pain to then set it up and get it ready to go. It's a lot of fun to work with, but it is slower than normal, slower than a regular lathe. One of these years I'll have an outdoor shop, and it will live out there and be a good use of that. But to have a decent foot-powered lathe that's set up, I can just put a piece in and pedal away. That's high on my list. So yes, hopefully next week I might be buying one. We will see. But yes, I would like to have the scroll saw and the lathe set up so that anytime I can be doing that, because I have a couple projects coming up. I want to do a gear. I want to do a clock with wooden gears, and show that being all done. So lots of fun to come. What's next?
All right, Mike Evans wants to know, did Mom and Sarah ever get their own carving tools?
Sarah doesn't have any carving tools of her own. We should fix this. Maybe.
I have a lot of her own.
My mom actually has quite a few of her own. Actually, I bought at one of the national meets, I think about a year or so ago, I bought a bunch, and we restored them and sharpened them up. Actually, I think we did one of the lives sharpening several of them, so yeah. But no, Sarah doesn't have her own set. She has my set.
Sarah doesn't have her own bench, doesn't have her own carving tools.
You started this argument. Thanks, guys.
I finally got my bed.
Yes.
And I love my bed. Can I just tell my one?
What, you hit your hip?
The hip, when you're blind like me in the middle of the night and you turn the corner of the bed that's the one design change I would have made, is not to make that one corner at hip height. Ow. It's beautiful otherwise. Sarah has your tools to use. Really, Mama? We know the truth.
I have Sarah's tools to use. I forgot to say this. You may have noticed that there are these boards back in the corner here. I'm actually just now starting in on the next step in the glue test. So if any of you have been following me for a while, you'll know, we got to focus back on here. I did a massive glue test a little over a year ago, and I tested 32 different glues in long grain to long grain, end grain to long grain, gap filling, and exterior weather conditions. And at the end of that, I said, a month or two, I'm going to be doing a whole nother string of 32 more glues. And then it's like, 14 months now. I'm finally getting around to gluing them up. And so we've had a bunch of glues I've been wanting to do. So I was showing the patrons the other day what all I'm doing on that. So hopefully this glue test will be coming in a month or two. It takes a long time because I have to glue on 1,280 blocks of wood, all of them precisely glued on with precise pressure, and then go through and test 1,280 blocks of wood with a precise press, actually measuring how much force is on every block. And it's a fairly detailed process. But you want to go back and look at it, search for The Great Glue Test. And you can see the old video on that. But I'm really looking forward to having that out and having a far more comprehensive study. And then once I have all of these done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the 4 or 5 representative glues that I want to test long term, and I'm going to glue up a bunch of boards and put them in my garage, and then every 6 months test them for the next 10 to 20 years. So we can get an idea of how do the glues actually last over time. So that should be really interesting. So come back in 20 years and we'll be able to get the information on that. What's next?
All right. Keith Walton wants to know, Are there any online forums where people sell member to member at better prices and to avoid eBay fees?
Yes. If you go to, I have a website set up called handtoolfinder.com. It is in the link down below. And on there I have number one, I have a map of every known place in the world, every place I have heard of where you can find hand tools for sale. And that map is growing regularly. I just added another 3 or 4 of them 2 days ago, and I've got an email with another 4 or 5 that I have to add on there. And so that is a great resource. Then below that, I have a list of all the tool collecting organizations I know of. So there's the MWTCA, which is the big one in the US, but then there's also the Pacific, and then there's one in Canada, there's the Southern Tool Collectors, there's the East Coast Tool Collectors, there's the California Tool Collectors, there's Australian Tool Collectors, and there's 2 or 3 other countries that I've found a tool collecting organization. And so you can go to those. And then down below that, I have a list of all of the known online tool sellers that are reputable, that sell tools at a decent price, and you can actually go on there and buy them directly from people online without having to go to eBay. And especially if you're looking for a particular tool or particular part, I normally go down to that list of online tool sellers and say, hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have this? Because most of them have a whole bucket out in the back, have hundreds of buckets out in the back with all these parts. So that's a great resource for that. And then below all of that, I have a list of tool collecting groups on Facebook and other places where there is a group of people. You can go on there and say, hey, I'm looking for this. Anyone seen one of those? And I've been doing that this week, looking for a lathe. I went on to the Unplugged Woodworker. I contacted several of my contacts in the sales list that I know deal with large foot-powered tools. And then I contacted the Hive Mind group as well, and put out, please, does anyone know where this is at? And so go to handtoolfinder.com and look down through that. If you're looking for tools, that is the best place to start, if I do say so myself.
So
my light just
Aaron says it's mom joke time.
Sarah's got a good one.
And I came prepared tonight.
Buckle your seats up, guys. This one's interesting.
So, a horse goes into a bar and orders a pint. The bartender says, you're in here pretty often. Do you think you might be an alcoholic? The horse says, I don't think I am, and promptly vanishes from existence. See, this was a joke about Descartes' famous line from philosophy, I think, therefore I am. But if I explained that before the rest of the joke, it would have been putting Descartes before the horse.
I love it.
And that's my mom joke for tonight.
Yes, she read that one to me last night. It's like, oh, you got to save that one.
So thanks, Aaron. I was hoping I'd get to use it.
Cool. What's the next question?
Keith Walton asks, oh wait, that was the question I just asked. Sorry. Volinar's Workshop. Do you have a line on bird-eye maple? I might be doing a big commission for a Dungeon Master screen and the customer wants birdseye for the panels. Looking for enough for 4 11 by 9 sheets.
If I'm looking for a particular type of wood, like I need quarter sawn oak, number one, I'm going to talk to my sawyers, and I generally have an idea of who might have that. Birdseye maple is a little bit more specific and a little bit harder to find, so I'll probably contact 1 or 2 of my local sawyers and say, hey, you got any of this? And the chances are that's going to be a no. However, I have a tool yard in Milwaukee about an hour and a half away, and I know if I go there, he's going to have several in stock. And then I have another one up in Wisconsin Dells. And he's the guy, if I go to him and I say, hey, I'm looking for birdseye maple, I need X amount, he'll either tell me, number one, I have it in stock, or number two, I'll get it for you in a week or 2. Because he has contacts all throughout Wisconsin, and if he needs something, he can get it. And there's usually wood sellers around who you get to know, and you know that when you're looking for something specific, this is the person you go to. So that's usually the answer for it. The other question is possibly veneering it. There are several good veneer sellers where you can get much cheaper, and then put it over top of something easier like a regular maple. So one idea to keep in mind. Cool. What's next?
All right. Aubreykun asks, did you know that back about 15 to 20 years ago, Harbor Freight sold a copy of the Stanley Odd Job? It's not anywhere near as common use as the real thing, though.
Yeah. No, I did not know that. I'll have to take a look at that.
There you go. Let's see. Tony Shop Alvarado asked, are you coming to Damasco, Maryland to the Patina meet in March?
I would love to. March is a very busy time because we're getting close to the end of the school year, and March, April, May, June, things really start to get busy. So if I can find a reason to go there other than just the tool meet, probably. Because for something like that, I'd like to actually mix up a couple different reasons to make a drive like that. But yeah, because I used to live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so not too far from there. But we'll see, maybe. What's next?
Excuse me. The Foreman asked, how do you read the spreadsheet on the last glue test? I got super confused.
I have a video where I actually go down through that and explain it. I tried to leave the information as raw as possible, just so that people can go and draw their own conclusions if they want to. But if you go down the bottom, I have all of the tabs where you can go through them, and on each tab I have a chart showing the differences. Now, one of the interesting things about the glue test is basically if any glue is over about 150 psi, I think it was 150 psi, there's somewhere in there's a line, and most of the glues go well over that, then they are stronger than the wood they bond. And so one of the things I'm actually testing in this is I'm trying to shear the glue itself. I'm not trying to shear the wood. And most of the time I can get that, and I can get the shear strength far stronger than the wood because I'm doing it at such a close proximity. And so because of that, I'm actually testing the glue strength, which goes well over and above the wood strength. So for most applications, most of these glues are way stronger than they need to be, but some people just want to know, I want the strongest glue. But sometimes that's not the best thing to take into consideration on what glue you might need. So yes, when this gets done, I'll be doing another video talking through it and talking through a lot of the answers and new information that's coming out. So yeah, stay tuned. I will be doing a video on that.
All right. Ariel Hughes asked, is the lever cap ready to fall on the big black plane?
The lever cap ready to fall on the big black. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either.
Post again, we'll take a look at it.
And then Ritchie asks, I've got a couple questions, if that's okay. Number one, what's the reason for manufacturers making straight and curved back saws? Do you want to answer that one first?
Number one, like this saw has a curve in it right here. Number one, it's a little bit of a weight savings, so you're not having extra steel on here you don't need. Number two, it looks good. And there was a time when the looks of a tool, the organic nature of it, the way it flowed, spoke to the quality of the tool. And you'll see over time, particularly with saws, in the handle, all of the little details and the shaping of the saw start to disappear. And one of those things is the back, because it's just easier to punt. It's easier to cut a straight line than it is to cut a curved line. And so over time that disappeared. But there are some saws that actually have, they'll have stop lines on here. So rather than this being shaped, there's actually a little fence, and it can be a square. And so then the back of the saw would be straight, so you could actually use it as a square. You could put it down and draw your line. Some saws even had had an awl in the handle, so you could pull the awl out and use it to mark your line. So it was an all-in-one. And then some would even have a level in there, so you could use the saw back as a level. There were a few other things in there. Some of them had, rather than just 90 degrees, also had 45 degrees and 60 degrees and ever other points in there. So most of the time it's more or less an aesthetic. It is a little bit of weight savings, but it was just kind of a way to speak to the quality of the tool. And when you get to some of the old ones, let's see, yeah, like this one. This one had a fairly exaggerated swoop to it. And I've seen some of them with even more, especially when you start getting the nib, people really showing off the quality of their saw and what they're putting into it. But functionally, doesn't make that big of a difference. What was the next question?
And then number 2 is, what's the best way to drill through a saw plate?
With a drill bit. Saw plate steel is a relatively soft steel in comparison. It's designed to be sharpened with a file. So if you have a high-speed steel drill bit, take an awl and mark and punch your center point where you want to drill. Make sure it's a sharp bit, and it will go right through it. That's basically what I do. Even with a brace and bit, as long as you have something to back the wood, so you're putting some weight into it, you're not bending the plate, it will march right through the steel. What's next?
Cut Twice asked, I live where it is supremely dry. Glue dies here. Any advice?
A humidor. No, I try not to keep glue longer than a couple years, even down here. And I don't buy as big a bulk. I don't buy anything more than I could use in a year and a half. And so I think that's the biggest thing is buy glue for the project as opposed to buying it to have in stock. In the long run, you are going to spend a little bit more money for that, but you know that the glue you purchased is new and ready to go. I do know some people who actually have moisture-controlled cabinets. Most of the time, people are actually trying to lower the moisture content, but in a low humidity climate, big freestanding humidor would be a cool way to do it. What's that?
Cut Choice says, I meant in joints. Gluing joints?
In joints?
I don't know. I didn't write it. I just read it.
Glue going bad in joints. I don't know what you're talking about.
Clarify.
Because once it cures or hardens, the humidity of the room should not make any difference in the glue itself, as long as the application was well. So yeah, give me some clarification or send me an email. I'm glad to talk about it.
Oh, excuse me.
What's next?
Sorry. If anyone has posted a question recently and I have accidentally skipped it, please repost it. They changed the look on YouTube, and it does not stick out the questions as easily for me now.
YouTube is switching all of the background stuff, and so everything is changing. And so this is our first one on live beta.
So apparently the furniture falls apart.
Then that probably means your glue is bad. Not that the glue has gone bad in the glue joint, but it was bad glue to begin with. Because the being too dry is, I don't see why that would be any particular issue for the glue once it's actually been applied and dried. So send me an email. I'd be glad to talk through with you.
All right. I found this one from earlier. The Mayflower Pilgrim asked, do you do any piercing, or are those used as fret saws? What? I have no idea.
Piercing? Talking about these. I haven't actually gotten into any. I haven't gotten into doing much of the scroll saw work. So once I get, I have a few finishing touches to do on the main scroll saw. I want to do some with that. So no, I haven't gotten much into that. So is that the last question?
No, there's a whole bunch of questions now.
Oh, okay.
I knew there were some that I had missed, and I thought I had even copied this one.
We're not getting off that easy tonight.
No. I knew I had missed some because I was like, I've seen them. And then we went to Mom Joke, I think is what I'm going to blame it on. All right, so Worth the Effort says, Hand Tool Shop wants to know what hand tool shops you drool over that aren't Roy Underhills set. He's in love with Frank Klausz's.
Yes, Frank Klausz is...
Or Klausz, sorry.
I love his shop. I have to say, oh, come on. Wooden shop. No. Wooden tools? Wood and shop. Yes, wood and shop. He has in North Carolina, I think. I think he's not too far from Roy Underhill, if I remember correctly. But he purchased a shop 2 or 3 years ago and has been refitting it and is now actually doing classes on his space. It's all whitewashed interior and really kind of cool. I like that one. You know, I don't get as shop jealous as some people because I really like my setup here, having everything in reach, and with hand tools you don't need a big expansive shop. So I really like where I'm at. So, yeah. What's next?
Let's see. Clay Foreman asks, is $38 a good price for a set of 6 vintage Irwin auger bits in their original wooden box?
Yeah, that would be a very good price. I saw one at the tool meet that I was really eyeing. It was a full set of augers, quarter to 1 inch, and they were all original Irwins, and absolute pristine, perfect condition. The box was in perfect condition, and the person wanted $120 for it, which is a decent price. If I didn't already have hundreds and hundreds of other augers that work perfectly fine, I probably would have snagged it. But yeah, I didn't need it. So yeah, that sounds like a very good price if they're still new and boxed. And yeah, definitely worth it. If you buy new augers that are actually worth it, they're like $25 to $35 each. So yeah, buy it.
All right, we've had a couple people join us from the intro. So Fox, Run Forge, and others want to know, what do you mean by last live? So maybe we could recap again.
How many more questions do we have?
I have 1, 2 others after that one.
All right, let's do those 2 questions, and then I'm going to end it with talking through that again.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people who aren't watching this live who want to see the recording, and that's at the beginning, so they already saw that.
Okay. So I guess we have 2 questions left, and then we're done.
Sounds good.
All right. Dave Pedde wants to know, do you know if a wood that you stain to look like walnut that is cheaper but also hard?
With the right staining technique, you can get a lot of woods to look like walnut. I've seen cherry stained to look like walnut really well. Pretty much any, I've seen it done with maple. You're looking for the grain structure. You're looking for something that's very similar grain structure, and a lot of woods would do that actually. Well, if you're looking for hardness, cherry is probably the closest one in hardness. Maple would be a bit too hard. Poplar would be a bit too soft. So yeah, I'd probably say cherry is your best bet. And it doesn't take too much to turn a cherry into a walnut in stain color. So yeah.
All right.
But experiment. Experiment several times over and test with it. Anytime you're working with stains, experiment.
So Volinar's workshop wants to know, how do you clean your shop?
I spent almost all today cleaning the shop. And I start in one space, and I clean it off, and I put everything away in this one space. And I move on to this space, and I clean it off, and I put everything away in this one space. And I usually go around the shop that way, and I come back to the start, and by that point I've put a bunch of stuff into that space, and so then I go around the shop again. And so usually after 2 passes, everything in the middle is trash, and I throw it out, and then everything else around the outside has been put away. And so it's my normal methodology. But yeah, my shop is actually really clean right now, which is kind of weird. Every time I finish a big project, I usually take a day and clean the shop and take everything back to zero. So I'm really looking forward to making it dirty again.
It actually looks pretty nice right now. I don't have little curls in my laundry room.
Yeah, I even swept the laundry room. So.
That's how you win my heart over.
Cool. So that's the last question, or is there one more?
That is the last question, except for the burning question.
What?
Nothing.
All right, if we have time, we might get one more, but we'll see. So for those of you who weren't able to see at the beginning where I talked through this, this is the last live here on Wood By Wright, the main channel. The live videos are going to be happening at the same time, and we're going to be doing the same format. We're just moving them over to Wood By Wright 2, and there's a link to that down below. So same time, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time, we are doing a live video where we'll be talking through a project or doing Q&A or something like that. And those will be happening on Wood By Wright 2. Also, the Thursday video, which is usually the how-to video where I talk through a particular tool or methodology, we'll be moving that over to Wood By Wright 2 as well. So that'll be on Thursday. Then the Saturday video is the project video. So whatever I'm building on the main channel here on Wood By Wright, that will be without talking, just a straight video of how things are done with the music. Then I'll be doing the how-to format of it, where I'll be talking in the background and actually describing what I'm doing. I'll be doing that on Wood By Wright 2. So all of the talking, the instructional, the how-to videos, the information, that will all be happening on Wood By Wright 2. Wood By Wright, the main channel, will now just be one video a week that is the artistic video. And I know that has really confused a lot of people, but it's mainly due to the way YouTube is working. YouTube works very well if there is a one topic channel, something where you're doing the same type of video on that channel. And the other thing is that the audience is growing, and so because of that, there's a lot more people in other countries. And with all of that going on, there's people who don't speak English, and it's much easier for them if they don't have me talking. And so I can help more people if I don't do the talking videos. And not having all the talking videos on here means that YouTube will then push these videos to a larger audience. And then on top of all of that, there are a lot of people, and I'd probably say about 50 to 60% of the people who watch the artistic video could care less about woodworking. They don't care about the woodworking, they don't care about learning how to do something. They're just here for an entertaining time where they want to watch some crazy guy doing something with hand tools in a relaxing way. And one of the interesting things about that is this kind of becomes the intro drug. And so some people might actually start to be interested about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And then they can go over to Wood By Wright 2 and learn all the how-to. So hopefully this will be something that will build the community and allow me to reach to a larger audience, not having all of the how-to and talking videos on there as well. So that is the plan with all of the Wood By Wright moving around. So everything's going to still be here. It's just if you want the how-to videos, the talking videos, the demonstration videos, those are all happening on Wood By Wright 2. So go ahead and go on over there, link to it down below. And then here on the main channel, we're just going to be doing the one build video every week. So stay tuned for more information. Did that cover it all?
I think so.
So.
Worth Effort said it's the opposite for him. The artsy ones don't do as much.
When I first got going, the artsy videos did not do well. And the reason for that is my core audience were wanting to learn how. But as the channel has grown, and I've put out other videos that YouTube has been pushing, there are a lot of people who are coming to the channel for that artistic video now. And then once they see a how-to video, that kind of turns them off and they leave the channel. And so now that the channel is much bigger, I'm seeing a much more focus on the broad audience just wanting that easygoing artistic video. So yes, and it used to be very much the same for the channel when I had a smaller audience that was people came here for the how-to. Now there are random people coming to me from all over the world who could care less about the how-to. They just want to see some dumb guy in the shop moving hand tools around. So yeah.
So Attila from Hungary asked that you not use YouTube's automatic machine translation on video descriptions, please.
I would love to change that. But yeah, the problem is that is very, very time consuming. For me, it would be somewhere around 3 hours every video to check a 5-minute long video, because the way I read. Sarah may be doing some of that in the future, but because she's working full time, that's not going to happen right now.
Back up. I was reading comments. What am I doing?
Oh, the subtitles on the video.
Oh, yeah, when I get my raise.
Yeah. So hopefully in a year or two, she might actually be able to start backing down on the nursing job and being able to do more with Wood By Wright. But hopefully, as the channel grows, we'll see how that goes. But I would love to get the subtitles cleaned up. If I paid someone else to do it, it would be around $50 to $60 a video, which is more than I make on the videos. So it doesn't quite work out that way. Oh, yeah. Was that a super chat? Because the thing's going.
Oh, yes, it was. Greg, I'm so sorry. I got distracted. I failed my job. It says, thank you for the videos and edutainment. I was wondering why they're yelling at me for dad joke. Oh my gosh, I need to go to bed.
Well, I've got a dad joke then.
We came prepared tonight.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Broken pencil.
Broken pencil. Who?
Broken pencil. Forget it. It's pointless.
I don't want to like that one, but I kind of do. Never give up the work insurance. That's why I haven't quit Worth the Effort.
Yeah. No, we're financially, if we trimmed everything down and we really went back to the bare bones, we might be able to make it on just the Wood By Wright channel. But then you throw in insurance and everything else we want to be able to do, and yeah, 3 children coming up with all the expenses now coming in with them. Yeah, we're not going to like it there. But we'll see. In the future, it may be worth it for Sarah to do smaller time, but still get the insurance. But we'll see. Who knows? Anything else?
Maybe I should just create my own channel.
Call it Wood By Wright the actual right way.
You said it, not me.
Cool.
All right.
I think that about does it, unless there's something I'm forgetting.
I have no idea. This black background has really thrown me off on reading the chat. I'm sorry if I'm missing any comments, guys, that I should be.
Cool. I think we'll wrap it up, and I'll read through the comments afterwards. So I will look forward to seeing you next week. We will be on Wood By Wright 2 at the exact time. Just go onto the other channel, and you can join us there. So, yeah. Anything else I'm missing?
I hope not.
Until next time, have a wonderful day.
Oh, now I gotta find
Now she's got to find where the new turn off button is. So I got it.
I got it. And